Welcome to a special NFL Draft Preview edition of SportsBeat. The NFL Draft will begin on Thursday with the first round. Rounds 2 and 3 will take place Friday, and rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. There are several local draft prospects who hope to hear their name called. We'll start with BYU linebacker Kyle Van Noy.
Stops him, what a play! Van Noy sacks him! Throws picked up by Kyle Van Noy, crossing the field to the 5. Get in, touchdown! KVN does it again!
He will go down as one of the greatest defensive players to ever suit up for BYU. After an All-American career with the Cougars, he's now ready to take his game to the next level. He played 52 games at BYU and made 153 solo tackles, 26 sacks, and 7 interceptions. 2 of them returned for touchdowns. He also forced 11 fumbles, but his most impressive stat may be tackles for loss. He had 62 of them. Kyle performed well at the NFL Combine as well. He measured 6'3", 243 pounds, up higher from his playing weight at BYU. And he ran a 4.740, not too bad at that way. 21 reps on the bench press. He projects at best at outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense. But teams have been impressed with his playmaking skills and versatility. Greg Wrubell has more on what intrigues NFL teams with this dynamic playmaker.
So Kyle Van Noy expected to be the first local player picked in the NFL draft, and David Nixon, he plays the position you played at BYU. First of all, Broncos had some success putting guys into the pros from that spot. What about the defense and how he handles that position makes outside linebackers really draftable out of BYU?
Well, I think Bronco does a great job of getting his talent and utilizing him in different positions. You look at Kyle Van Noy, the last few years, Coach Minhall really put him on the outside, a few times on the inside, used him as a spy linebacker, so he moved him around quite a bit to utilize his talents. And we saw it with Kyle. He's constantly making plays.
What on Kyle's film is going to jump out most to teams scouting him right now?
Yeah, I think it's his, how physical he is. Seen him just a few weeks ago. He's now pushing 250 pounds. So he's even put on more weight, which will help him at the next level. His nose for the ball, I think that's the biggest thing. He's always making plays because he has that knack for where the ball is going to be. And that's something that you can't really preach. It's not something you really can work on. It's just something that comes along with the whole football mindset.
It's a touchdown! Kyle Van Noy!
When these teams bring in Kyle for conversations and they talk with this guy, what are they getting?
Oh, man. I mean, I actually talked to Kyle about this a few weeks ago and said, hey, how are the visits going? And he said he'd walk into these meeting rooms. They'd throw up on the whiteboard all the plays. How would you react to this? How would you react to that? You go out there on the field, but once you get to the NFL, it's more than just being athletically gifted. You have to be smart, too.
He's going to get hit. He's going down!
And I think his draft stock definitely is going up. And as it gets closer and closer, I know he's probably getting anxious. After you prepared for so long, 3-4 months, now it's time to finally find out where you're going. Could be anywhere in the country. And then once you get that shot, go out there and play ball.
Draft day approaching for Kyle Van Noy. David Nixon, thanks to you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have more with Greg here in a moment. Kyle's all over the place on some of these mock drafts. Some say he's a 3rd or 4th rounder, but ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. is very high on Kyle and believes he's one of the best 25 players in the draft. ESPN has him as high as 36th overall in the 2nd round by the Raiders, and as you can see there, CBS.com now has him going as high as 31. That would be in the 1st round to the Denver Broncos.
So many almost interceptions.
Pressure coming. Hundley trying to buy some time. Throws, and that one picked off to the end zone. Touchdown, Keith McGill.
Well, injuries kept Keith McGill from realizing his potential at Utah, but an outstanding senior year was enough to impress NFL scouts. At 6'3" tall and 211 pounds, McGill is that big physical corner prospect that NFL teams are looking for right now. He started all 12 games at corner for the Utes as a senior. He fared well against Pac-12 receivers, and his best highlight was a 19-yard interception return for a touchdown right here against UCLA. His performance at the NFL Combine was a huge boost to his draft stock. His size to run a 4.51 40-yard dash was very impressive. He also had a 39-inch vertical leap and a 129-inch broad jump. He is 25 years old, which is a negative, but he needs to improve his toughness as well. Teams are very high on the guy because of his size, and he played a lot of press man in college, which is something NFL teams really like to see. Hans Olsen has more on McGill's prospects.
He's got 4.5 speed. He's tall. He's got long arms. He's got a huge build. He's learned inside that Utah defense to play press man coverage. He can also play zone coverage. He's really versatile. He can give you a rush. He can reroute. He does so many things well in that corner position. The one thing I look at a guy like Keith McGill, I ask myself, does he have the drive? Does he have that drive to get through the grind year in and year out? With that being said, he's put in the work. He's improved his numbers. He's extremely athletic, really versatile. Can he handle the grind of the NFL life? When he gets that money and life gets a little more cushy, does he still have that edge and that drive? Well, we're yet to see that, but he's got the athleticism to be a starter in the NFL.
McGill may have worked himself into a second-day draft pick. Many mocks have him being taken in the second or third round. He'd be a nice fit in Seattle or Jacksonville. SI.com has him as high as number 52 in the second round to the Arizona Cardinals.
Southwick is picked off by Larson. Larson might take this one the distance. Nevin Lawson, touchdown Aggies.
Now staying with the cornerback theme, Utah State's Nevin Lawson hopes to continue the trend of Aggies being selected in the draft since the rise of the program under Gary Anderson and Matt Wells. Lawson was a 4-year starter in Logan. He was second-team All-WAC as a junior and first-team All-Mountain West as a senior. He led the team with 17 passes defensed and was second with 4 interceptions during his senior year. He was an important member of a Utah State defense that finished the 2013 season ranked 7th in the country in scoring defense. Lawson was also invited to the Combine and posted solid numbers, 4.4 in the 40-yard dash and a 33-inch vertical jump. He was even better at Utah State Pro Day with a blazing 4.3 40 time and 34.5-inch vertical leap. Hans Olsen's back with a breakdown on Lawson.
I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter in the NFL. Now, I don't want to doubt him because he certainly has some of the abilities to be a starter, but his size is going to be a little bit of a concern. Now, he makes up for that in aggression and strength. Believe it or not, Nevin Lawson is an extremely strong corner. He's a kid that as a receiver comes into him, he can get those hands into him. He's got the strength to hold him, to push him to where he wants them to go. He can get down the field, and he can run with probably any receiver in the NFL right now. So he can get out and run with you. And he's impressed a lot of NFL scouts. I think Nevin Lawson has worked himself into the 4th or 5th round area in the draft. I think he's a definite draft pick, and I think he's going to be a solid contributor in the NFL.
Now, the mock drafts would follow what Hans says there, that Lawson's a player that could land anywhere from the middle rounds to late rounds, but looks to have a great chance to get drafted no matter what. SI.com has him as high as 111th overall in the 4th round. As you can see there, NFL.com has him going as high as 101 to the Houston Texans.
Takes the snap. Reilly off the edge. Trevor coming after him, and he's going to get him. Back at the 12-yard line. Reilly runs him down. It's a sack of 3 yards.
NFL scouts can criticize his age, 26, and his athleticism, but you can't question his toughness. Trevor Reilly played his entire junior year with a torn ACL. He also faced adversity off the field as his infant daughter battled and beat cancer. None of that seemed to faze him as a senior at Utah. The former walk-on was all Pac-12 for the U defense. And for his career, he finished with 235 tackles, 36.5 tackles for loss, and 20.5 sacks. He also had 2 interceptions. Trevor was invited to the Combine, but due to a right knee issue, he was only able to do the bench press, where he did turn in 26 reps. He participated in positional drills at Utah Pro Day and also ran the 40, as you saw there. NFL scouts love his toughness and his versatility. He's played every linebacker position in college, and if he continues to add weight and strength, he could be a defensive end at the next level. Hans Olsen has more on what Trevor can bring to an NFL team.
And I've had an opportunity to play golf and be around Trevor quite a bit. And his level of competition and his zeal for life and his drive and his fortitude and all those things you need to be a great player, are going to transition so well from college into the NFL. I think Trevor Reilly is going to be an instant contributor. And I know a lot of people talk about his age being trouble or being a problem, but you got to remember, he took a couple of years off, went on a mission. His body, even though he's 26, his body is still like a 24-year-old. Yeah, he's going to age a little bit quicker, get to the 30s a little bit faster than some, but he's got a lot of great years left in his body. I think his personality and his attitude will transition into the NFL better than any other athlete coming out of the state of Utah. So Trevor Reilly, probably a third-round draft pick, but a huge contributor his rookie year.
Loads up, goes for the end zone, looking for Hoffman. Ball is in the air, and oh, what a catch! Oh, it's an amazing grab for a touchdown! And Hoffman makes a juggling catch for a touchdown!
Oh, we saw that many times. Cody Hoffman broke just about every receiving record at BYU during a standout career with the Cougars. Now he hopes to make his mark in the NFL. Cody finished his college career with 43 consecutive games with the reception. He was reliable and consistent all 4 years at BYU. He had 894 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns as a senior. But he was even better as a junior with 100 catches for 1,248 yards and 11 touchdowns. Only Austin Collie had a better single season receiving in BYU history, and now Cody claimed a lot of Austin's records. Cody didn't stand out at the NFL Combine. He ran a 4.65 40, had a 27.5-inch vertical leap, and just 13 reps on the bench. But scouts are very impressed with his toughness, consistency, and experience. They've got 4 years of him on tape. Greg Wrubell talked to Ben Cahoon, who coached Cody at BYU and is the CFL's all-time receptions leader, about Cody's NFL prospects.
Ben, as somebody who worked closely with Cody, what makes him appealing to an NFL team right now?
Just that prototypical NFL body, and you know, he has great hands, good concentration, great body control, and athleticism. The knock on Cody's always been his explosiveness, and unfortunately for Cody, I don't think his combine times or his pro day times really helped his cause. He's not going to be the best athlete on the field. He's got to prove that he can compete and that he wants to compete with guys that have a little more natural ability. The NFL teams are going to love his size. They're going to love his ball skills, his ability to make plays and come down with the ball when guys are draped all over him. He's shown that over and over in his college career. I think NFL teams, they're going to be impressed by that, but then they're also going to be wary that he's going to be playing against better competition, and they're going to have to make that judgment call.
Are you pretty confident he'll hear his name called at the draft?
I am. I think it'll be a little later than most Cougar fans think, but I think he'll get drafted and he'll give himself a chance to stay employed.
Running out to the right, Washington throws on the run, picked off by Daniel Sorensen, 20, 15, 10, 5 stays on his feet to the 2. He's tackled there and he's down. It's 1st and goal, BYU at the 2.
Daniel Sorensen was a 3-year starter at BYU as a safety, and he was also a special teams ace for the Cougars. He finished his BYU career with 122 tackles, 11.5 for a loss, and also added 8 interceptions. He was a hard-hitting safety who also forced 2 fumbles. Daniel was very impressive at the NFL Combine. At 6'1" and 205 pounds, he ran a 4.67 40 to 6.47 seconds in the 3-cone drill, 3.95 seconds in the 20-yard shuttle, and 10.8 seconds in the 60-yard shuttle. Were among the all-time best at the Combine. That really turned some heads. His performance dramatically improved his draft stock. It also helps that his older brother Brad is a backup quarterback with the San Diego Chargers. Greg and former Cougar and Arizona Cardinal Andrew Rich have seen more Danny than any NFL scout.
When you watch BYU games, how much did you hone in on that particular position, and what did you see from Danny the last couple of years in particular?
Yeah, so I have a hard time watching a game like a normal spectator, so that's something that I watched, you know, really closely. The first thing that stood out to me watching Danny play was just his ability to cover ground. That's something that I wish I was better at. Physically wasn't quite able to do it like Danny, and just his ability to to make a play on a run in the backfield, as well as cover a deep ball in the middle. And then just his ability to, his quick reads, understand run pass really, really fast, and then just reaction and created a lot of turnovers and was really fun to watch and represented the position very well. I think, in my honest opinion, I think Danny will be a mid-round draft pick. NFL teams want guys that are ball hawks and make plays and cause turnovers. And from the very first time I saw Danny, I knew he was a special athlete. When I saw the things that he did at the combine, I wasn't too surprised, just because I know what he's capable of. I believe in Danny. I think he's going to be a great pro.
Never thought I'd really be here in this situation. I always dreamed about it, and always worked for it, but now that it's actually here, you kind of get real excited. Even, right now I have a lot of sleepless nights just because of how excited I am.
And into the end zone walks Jake Murphy for a touchdown.
Now, some may have expected Jake Murphy to follow in the footsteps of his famous father, Dale Murphy, and play baseball. Instead, Jake has made a name for himself as a football player. Jake caught 63 passes for 830 yards and 10 touchdowns during his 3 years at Utah. He showed his toughness returning last season from a broken wrist. He also showed his versatility by playing different variations of tight end under 3 different offensive coordinators. Well, Jake really helped himself at the NFL Combine with outstanding marks in the 3-cone drill and 20-yard shuttle. At Utah Pro Day, he was able to show NFL scouts his sure hands and blocking ability. Tyler Larson has been the heart and soul of the Utah State offensive line. Now he hopes to join his older brother Cody in the NFL. Cody, of course, with the Baltimore Ravens. The Jordan High grad started all 52 games at Utah State and was a 3-time all-conference performer. He impressed at the NFL Combine with his strength. Get these numbers. 36 reps on the bench press. That's 225 pounds 36 times. Very impressive. That tied him for the second-best mark at this year's NFL Combine. He must show he can play more than just center, and he's been doing so by cross-training at the guard position. Former Utah State linebacker Bojay Filimoeatu looked to have a bright future in the NFL until a serious injury ended his hopes of getting drafted. That didn't stop him from pursuing his NFL dream. After rehabbing the injury, Bojay is ready to give the NFL another chance. He hopes to land a free agent contract. He finished his career at Utah State with 112 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, and 8 sacks. Bojay turned heads at Utah State Pro Day. Bojay put up 33 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds. He ran a 4.640, which is very impressive for his size and position. He hopes he can convince scouts he's worthy of a contract.
I felt good back. Finally felt good to be doing football drills again instead of working out with personal trainers and getting my knee right. It took me about a while. A lot of people asked me where I went. They thought I was just done, but I sat out about 6 months for surgery, and all that started again, and then training from scratch. So it took me a long time to get my knee right, and it felt good. Last year, I think my last spring ball, when I tore my MCL, I think the docs didn't know that I tore my patella. So I played the whole season with it like that, and then it finally tore at one of the senior bowls I went to, and then just kind of struck me down. And then I'm better now, I'm blessed that I went through that struggle to let me know what it really is like, outside of football and to start from the bottom. So it really humbles you.